Are you thinking about booking a Viking Ocean cruise and are wondering, are they a good fit for you? If so, check out this video and hopefully I can help you sort that out. Hey there, travel lovers. It's your trusted cruise and Tauck Tour and Africa Safari expert Shawn Power here. And I'm actually sitting on a Viking Ocean cruise ship right now. I'm on the Viking Vesta and I'm here in the south of France today. This is a Rome to Barcelona 1 week cruise over here in the Mediterranean. As you can see, it's a beautiful setting for sure. But I wanted to talk to those of you today who've never cruised a Viking before and you're trying to figure out, hey, are they the right cruise line for me? Probably you've done some big ship ocean cruises. Just last week I happened to be on a Princess cruise with some family members. I've been on all the big ships myself, so I very much understand the difference between a big ship and a Viking cruise. And then of course there's other smaller ships besides Viking as well. So, but again, a lot of people do naturally move from the big ships to Viking, and Viking is the biggest, they have the most market when it comes to the smaller ship cruise lines. So they're a great choice for a lot of people. So I want to talk to you about today, what's the appeal, why it could be for you. And really when I look at it, there's one reason, at least in my opinion, why Viking is so popular and why they're usually a good choice for people when they get away from the big ships. And the number one word I can think of is immersion. Like I said, I was on Princess last week, and look, I've probably been on 13 Princess cruises over the last 20 years, and I've always enjoyed them. But when we were on board last week, for starters right away, about a third, about 33% of the cruise was at sea, because of course they want to be at sea a couple of days, so you're at the casino spending money, you're at the shop spending money and everything else. We had some great entertainment, but it was like Broadway style shows, and we were eating lots of American style food. I mean, we had some great restaurants, the steakhouse, the Italian, everything else. We were drinking, sitting around drinking great wines from Napa Valley in California. So the point was, it was a really nice cruise for what it was, but I didn't feel as immersed. I didn't even feel like I was in Europe half the time, except for when we got off the ports, which was only, I think 4 times in a week and not for very long in some places. But when I got on Viking a day later, I felt much more immersed right away. So, for example, the first evening, our entertainment was a talk on, it was a lecture on Florence. So we were going to Florence the next day. So right away, here we are learning about Florence. We're going there the next day. Right away, I felt more immersed into where I was going. I wasn't watching a Broadway style show. I think later that night, there was a Pavarotti documentary on, of course, one of the most famous singers in the world, because we're going to be spending some time in Italy. What else? There was, we're in France today. There was a lecture on Josephine Bonaparte, I believe. There was a lecture on her. So the point is, everywhere we go, there's like lectures every day. And that's why, Tours Hagen, he's been running Viking for decades. He's always said, Viking it's a thinking man's cruise. It's not a drinking man's cruise. And that's what he means. There's no casinos on board Viking. There's actually no kids even allowed on Viking. I mean, Viking, you've got to be 18 years and older. So that means there's no rock climbing walls, there's no slides and all that kind of stuff. So basically what it is when you come to a place, it's very destination focused. Like, we're on the ship for 6 days besides the boarding day, and every single day we're in a port. So it's like port, which means you're going to feel fully immersed when you're here. Of course, I think it was the second night in, they had like a nice Italian dinner. So we were trying a lot of the local things that you would get if you were staying here in Italy. What else? Of course, we were trying some of the regional wines. So overall, I think Viking makes people feel immersed. They know when they come on a Viking cruise, they're going to really get to experience a destination. It's not like being on a Caribbean cruise in Europe. It's like going to Europe and actually experiencing Europe. So that seems to really, really appeal to people. Another thing why Viking's so popular, and again, a lot of you guys might be new to Viking, so how it works is, of course, I book a lot of my own clients on Viking because I tell them about them. But a lot of you guys, what happens is you're looking at Viking and then you find me online. You'll find my airfare videos on Viking. You'll find my insurance videos on Viking. You'll find my shore excursion videos on Viking. And then you say, hey, Shawn, can I work with you? As long as you book within 60 days, you can. You move your booking to me. It's very simple. I give you hundreds of dollars of onboard credit. But the point is, a lot of you guys, when you move your booking to me, you're like, hey, you still want to know if it's the right cruise line, if you made the right decision, because you've probably only put down a $50 deposit at this point, and you want to make sure that you want to stick with this cruise. So, some of the other reasons why I think Viking are popular, which is something that you want to consider, a lot of people like the inclusions that Viking automatically includes in their cruises that you don't necessarily get on the big ships. On the big ships, you can get these inclusions, but you got to pay more for them. But the point is, if you see a Viking price and you can afford it, you're going to get a pretty good cruise. Because right away when you sit down to like lunch and dinner, you're going to have wines included. you're going to have beer included, you're going to have soft drinks included. Now look, like any cruise line, if you want better wines and better drinks, of course there's a drink package. Vikings is like one of the cheapest out there. I think it's like $27 a day. But the point is, the standard wine and beer is in there. Same with shore excursions. Every single time you go to a port with Viking, there's going to be one shore excursion included. Now, like I've said in other videos, it can be very basic. So yesterday, for example, we were in Florence, and if you wanted to go to Florence for 10 hours for the day, you're going to pay for that. If you wanted to go to Tuscany for the day, which I did the day before, you're going to pay for that. But yesterday, I actually did an included excursion, which was in the Pisa and back to see the Leaning Tower. Today, I'm going to also do an included one to Villa France. We're going to do like a bit of a walking tour around the town. Now, the other 4 ports, I'm actually going to pay more for excursions, and it adds up. I mean, I think it's like another $900 per person that myself and my partner are paying. I mean, we sat down and her and I looked at the different things, and we liked a couple of the included ones, but we really wanted to do some of the ones that were extra money. So that's a choice if you want to do that or not. But the point is, if you're on a Viking cruise, you're going to at least get one excursion in each port, and even if it's basic, you're going to get a good feel for the area. Same thing like things like, Wi-Fi is going to be included in your price. You're not going to pay for any food on board. The specialty dining is included. I've been on big ships where for a week I've spent like $800 per person on specialty dining. It was crazy how expensive it was. So the point is that I think these are the things that really appeal to those who are looking at Viking. They want to be immersed. Again, like I said, this is an adults-only cruise line. It's not about taking the kids and grandkids. It's 18 and over. So people a lot of times on this cruise line, they're going to be retired, or they're going to be celebrating a huge occasion like a 65th birthday, a 75th birthday, or whatever it is. And it's really a dream to come to places like this, and they really want that experience. So that's the appeal. They're going to really get an experience when they come on Viking, and then also they're going to, like I said, know that the basics are included. The drinks at the meals, the Wi-Fi, a shore excursion in every port, and you don't need to deal with thousands of people on board like I did with Princess last week. Here there's like 900 to 1,000 people on board, and again, no kids, and it's very quiet on these ships, which is something that you're really going to enjoy. So hopefully that gives you a good feel for what a Viking cruise is about. Again, I think that's the main things: immersion, inclusions. You know what you're going to get. It's very consistent. All the Viking ships in their ocean fleet are the same. They're all sister ships, all 15 of them, or however many they have. So hopefully that'll kind of give you the confidence that if you're not sure a Viking is for you, give it a try one time and see what you think. Worst case, if it doesn't work, let me know. Next time we'll get you on something better. So hopefully that helped. And again, any questions, just leave me a comment or go to ShawnPower.com.